All right, guys, welcome back to the Zone Friends. Today we have a special guest, our boy Kane Felix on Facebook.
How
If you
y'all doing?
know
How y'all
him,
doing?
if you know him, then you know him. That's all I gotta tell you. Even if you don't know him, don't ask me who he is because I'm not gonna introduce you. But today,
Anyway, he changes his name like once a week. So Chief, one week it's Musashi Kishimoto. Next week it's
yeah.
King.
And then I was like, I'm not.
Listen,
He's like, oh, if
listen.
you want to search me up, call me Poppy. But anyways, we gathered here today because we finally decided we want to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and the whole everything that's going on currently. I wanted to ask you guys one question though. So, what do you guys think about when people say all lives matter? Khalil, you can go first.
For me, when people say all lives matter, I think hmm, there's a version of ignorance that people kind of hold themselves to, right? So you have a lot of people who see it as saying that all lives matter includes all lives when realistically speaking, it just excludes all the lives that they don't care about. So everything is about self-preservation at that point. So
Yeah,
everyone who's shouting all lives matter, those being predominantly white, are saying that, regardless of what you're saying, regardless that Black Lives Matter, is that all of our lives need to be taken into account. But that's never it's never been the case. It's not gonna be the case anytime soon as far as we've seen in the news.
right. And Irvin, what do you think?
So it was kind of difficult for me to kind of wrap it around my head. Like, fair to say that I got love for everyone in the world, and I want to make sure that everyone is straight and no matter what they're doing. But it was like a metaphor that someone was telling me. Let's say you have two kids, right?
Yeah,
You're at the play. They're at the playground. One kid ends up falling off the slide and gets injured. So you are now showing your attention to that one kid. It doesn't mean that you love your other kid any less. It's just that right now the other kid needs your attention.
right.
So when people say all lives matter, it's just like it makes me feel like they're not really looking at the full scope of things. They're just kind of just giving a general sense because they don't want to offend anyone.
I mean, so when I hear all lives matter, I feel like it's an excuse. Basically, people don't want to believe that Black people in this country still suffer. They don't want to believe that racism still exists. So they use that whole all lives matter thing as, wait, why Black lives matter? Like, why is it so relevant right now? Like, why is that the one that's taking over? But they're not realizing that we're not saying all lives don't matter by saying Black lives matter. I just think it's really ignorant of them to be like all lives matter whenever they hear Black lives matter, because nobody ever said only Black lives matter. But as you said with that analogy of the kid that's hurt, we're the kid that's hurt right now. So if you focus all your energy to the kid that's hurt and you help him feel better, then both of those kids will both be healthy. But in doing the all lives matter thing, you're only making sure that you're keeping that one hurt kid down. And that's how I see it. So
True.
I just think it's really ignorant on people's part to even proclaim all lives matter, because they obviously don't get it. You guys heard what Drew Brees said about kneeling and everything. To me, he still doesn't get it. And he has Black teammates. He lives in a Black community like Louisiana.
Chief, he got to retire.
Honestly, Drew Brees might have lost a fan for me. Like I was like my top three quarterback possibly all time. Now I will never look at him the same. Like even if Tom Brady did that, I'd be like, I'm out. Because for me, it's more than just sports. Like I'm a Black man first, and that's how I see myself. So if you don't respect what I'm trying to do or what my people are trying to do, then I lose all respect for you. Like, and it's definitely personal. It's not like, oh, we have a difference of opinions. No, I take it personal. Like this is my identity. So if you're not helping me to be the best version of myself or even be alive in some cases in this country, then I don't need you. I don't support you at all. And that's just how it is.
No, for sure, and definitely to like draw back to that Drew Brees thing. I think that there are a lot of white individuals who are brought up in Black neighborhoods, predominantly Black neighborhoods, because I know I was friends with a couple of different people in the time that I've moved, especially living in Boston in the first part of my life, where they grew up in our neighborhood and around us, but like the difference was is that like their parents owned all of our houses. You
Right.
know what I mean? And the difference was that like if something were to happen on the street and we're concerned about it, they wouldn't be concerned. You know what I mean? And it doesn't really say it doesn't really mean to say that they're ignorant, but they just didn't care. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of different people, especially with Drew Brees. I feel like when he made those comments, he just didn't care. Because it doesn't matter where you're brought up around. It depends on how you feel and how you bring about those feelings. So for him, necessarily, the way that he acted and the way that he made it seem about caring about Black lives is definitely, I can't really say it's a general thing for white people. It's definitely not. But I feel like
Oh, definitely
there's a
not.
lot of ignorance. It's
Um,
definitely not.
it's like beating around the bush. Honestly, it's like, for example,
For sure.
no, like it's like, for example, when you listen to like the president talk about rich people and poor people, because of how messed up and systematic everything is. When you say rich, you're talking about a white person.
Yeah, like Joe Biden.
If you think, like, your mind automatically goes to white.
Mm-hmm.
When you say poor, you're automatically thinking of some Black person, and that's because of the systematic issues that we have in this nation.
I mean, that's right, and
Biden did it.
Huh?
He said, and I can't quote this, but this is what he said. He said, Black people could have just as much as a chance as rich people or Black kids for that point. And for me, I was like, why is he making that type of assumption that Black kids are poor and that rich kids are white? You know what I'm saying? It's like, even if you may think that as a presidential candidate, you should not be saying stuff like that. Because then it's just, everybody knows you have your own beliefs and stuff like that, and it just makes you look bad.
For sure, especially when you make the presumption like that.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people make those presumptions.
Exactly, but that doesn't, and they don't have to be said. And even if you believe it, saying it out loud, what does that do for anybody? It's like Joe Biden seems like he's trying his best for Black people and everything. I just think he's basically fake woke in a sense, and a lot of people, especially minorities and African Americans, unfortunately, will be voting for him on the sole fact that he was Obama's vice president for 8 years.
Listen,
like,
Joe,
that's not how I see it.
Well, because you're an informed voter, but a lot of people don't know politics, and they're literally voting for him because he was Obama's vice president.
Well, no, for me, when it comes to this next election, I'm just basically going to be anti-Trump. Unfortunately, there's only one other person that's realistic to vote for.
Exactly.
So I'm forced to vote Joe Biden, unfortunately.
Oh, I felt the same way about Hillary Clinton, and you know how us Haitians feel about Hillary Clinton. You got to pick the lesser of two evils, but in some cases, if they're both evil, you're better off. I mean, I wouldn't say not voting, because not voting is even worse in my opinion.
Yeah, no, way worse. Yeah. It's just, if you really have to do if it's the lesser of two evils, then pick the former of the two and just keep it trucking, because where we are right now is not where we should have been. We are way deeper into too many different things with the president that we have now, and that was the the issue with the last election. Was a lot of different outside sources, and we are where we are now. And I feel like if we don't try and rectify the situation that we're in now, then we're definitely gone. Like we're done for.
I think in 1968, when JFK was assassinated, and I believe that was around the same year we lost Martin Luther King. I believe they with the civil rights movement and everything, they got rid of blatant racism, but the underlyings of racism never left. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now in the 21st century, we're able to see it because we have smartphones, with social media, everything gets spread around the world in seconds. So I think that's good, but it's been 50 years since the civil rights movement and everything, and it feels like nothing's really making progress, but it's because they just hit it. They, like, you know how your mom tells you to clean your room and you just push everything under your bed? That's basically what they did. And with all these police brutality shootings and some minorities getting shot and killed, unfortunately, do you guys believe that it'd be best if Black men would be armed with guns?
I mean, I'll go first. For one, I am definitely an advocate for Black men to own guns. You need to do it the legal route. That's really the only way you should do it. It depends on where you live, because I know there are certain limitations, especially with Boston, we're a red zone. So a lot of different, with our little boroughs that we have, whether it be Roxbury or Dorchester, you can't get a gun out here. If you were to live in like Western Mass, it's a lot easier to get a gun out there. And then even then, it depends on your job title.
Right.
So the reason why I say we definitely should have guns is because I'd rather us get caught with it, have it legally, have your documentation, than get caught without it. Because it seems like every time there's a situation where a black man's caught without a gun, he's for whatever reason still thought to be suspicious and then brought down and then unfortunately killed for no other reason other than just suspicion. And he
Okay.
doesn't have a gun on him. There's been a lot of times where police have planted weapons and it's
They
been
planted drugs in the black neighborhoods in the 80s. Right.
exactly,
So we know
exactly,
about this.
exactly. So it's just like all it really ever boils down is just you have to protect yourself.
Right.
We have a constitution, follow it to the best of your ability. I understand that it's a lot different for us. I'm not saying that we are exempt like a lot of a lot of the white individuals in the world where they can do a lot of the things that we do and it's not going to be seen the same. But I would much rather have a gun and know that I'm a little more safer in this world if
Right.
somebody jumps into my house than trying to just walk down the street having a regular day and a cop stops me because I look like somebody he thinks he's seen before, he thinks he's looking for. Because the perfect case for that is, unfortunately, rest in peace Breonna Taylor, is how she was gunned down in her home
Sleeping.
sleeping. And her case is that her boyfriend, who was a lawful gun owner, took out his gun and did what he had to do. He bared arms. He didn't know what was going on. He had all you hear and all you see are just gunshots flying into your house. The first thing is fight or flight. He chose to fight.
I
And yet
respect
he
him for that.
still was taken into custody, still was brought in and still arraigned. As far as I know, he's been out of jail. Everything's all set for as far as court dates. So, God bless for that. But it's ridiculous because I can promise you, if the roles were reversed as far as race, if this was a white man, there'd be no problem. They'd be giving him a medal.
Right. So,
So
so Irvin, what do you think? Should we be more inclined to own guns, like legally?
I'm never gonna impede you on using your constitutional right to bear arms, but honestly, I'm going to have to say no. And I think the biggest reason why I'm going to say no is because you got to think about all these situations that they put us in. So, like for example, when you go to Fernando Castillo, even if you say that, oh yeah, I have a gun in the car, you'll be gunned down faster.
this
And
is fact.
yeah, it's fair. And the biggest thing is that when the cops talk about the situation, you're gonna be like, oh, he had a gun on him, and so instantly they can play, oh, I felt threatened because he was armed, and that goes back to the police training. So when you hear that the suspect is armed, in your head you automatically shoot first, and that's what they're training the academy. Vice
Well,
versa.
in their head, they only shoot first if he's black. If he's white, like the dude Dylan who shot 9 people in the church, they're gonna
Yeah,
believe okay.
that's
So
fair. But
what I want to bring
okay,
up, right, real quick, is so we've talked about the legal side of it.
Right.
So a lot of times, homes are invaded and used, with lethal force because they know that you have a legal gun in the database. So my question to you both is, do you think that you should have an illegal weapon in your home? Now, that's not to necessarily mean that you just get it off the street. There are different avenues as to which you can get certified guns with certified serial numbers. However, the way you may purchase them and the way you may get them is up to you. That being said, you're still protecting yourself. You're still bearing arms. It's just that it's not on paper. It's not recorded anywhere. And with that, I mean, although it's gonna be a lot worse if they catch you, I mean, like I said, I'd rather have it than not have it because, like I said, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend did everything that he could. His girlfriend still died, and I mean, heck, he took a couple cops because he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know the situation. You waking up at 4 a.m. and you're thinking that you have intruders, the first thing that you're gonna do is
All
protect your
your
home, your
instincts.
life, and your liberty. It's
there's a
as simple as that.
there's a few things that you said, Khalil. So it really, like you said, remember how you said it depends on where you live?
Right.
Well, if you have stand your ground, fine, you should own a gun because pretty much everyone walks around guns like it's water, like a bottle of water. So I think you should be armed in those states.
Okay.
But for the general sense, like for the people who live in what's it called, the states that don't have the stand your ground law, I don't believe they should be owning it, just because of this. So I remember I was looking at a statistic saying that if you're unarmed, the response time before they shoot you is 31 seconds. Well, 0.31, yeah, 0.31. But if you're armed, it's 0.26. That 0.05 might help someone realize maybe I shouldn't be shooting this person. You know what I mean?
More likely than not, a lot of these cops are trigger happy. And I mean, it's like a chain reaction. It's a domino effect. You have one guy shooting, and then you get the autopsy, and then you got whoever this poor victim is with 22, 30, 45 shots. For what? You're supposed to shoot until they're not lethal anymore. Why can't you, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're going into training, there's no way that the only thing that you're learning in training, as far as aiming wise, is lethal shots. You got to learn how to shoot somebody in the leg or something. Just something.
Non-fatal shots.
There has to be a non-fatal shot system. There's no way that you're this many cops in this many different cities are this ignorant to it.
That's fair.
And I've said this before, even if it's self-preservation for the cop himself, even if it's just, all right, I don't want to have to do all this paperwork. Even if you're only thinking about yourself, you can still save someone by taking that second thought and stopping.
All right. But anyways, this is my stance on whether a black man should own a gun. Originally, I was like, well, if we own a gun, we're just going to be targets. We're going to give them a reason to shoot us. And we're not supposed to have guns in their eyes.
Okay.
So by having a gun, we're just giving them a reason to shoot. We're like, because at this point, we're already black. So I'm like, he's black and he has a gun. I got to shoot. That's how I saw it, right? But then the more people who die without guns, they putting their hands up and they're still getting shot in the chest at least 5-10 times. I'm just like, what's the point of me not having a gun if I'm still going to die regardless? Yeah, I'm giving them more of a chance to shoot me, but at the same time, it's like, I'm going to roll the dice. I want to live at the end of the day. So if I gotta shoot some people to survive, I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to put my hands up because, listen, that's what they teach you as a kid. Oh, if you go outside, don't put your hands in your pockets. Keep your hands out. They try to tell you so you can conform to them. But if they're still trying to kill you and you're conforming, you can, like, what does that matter? You're still gonna die. So I'm like, if I'm gonna die, I might as well die fighting for my last breath instead of just giving up.
Right.
And Khalil, to your point about you saying if you have a legal gun in the system, that's a good point because then you're giving them an excuse to raid your house because they know you have a legal gun. So exactly. I'm like, I don't know if I'd encourage people to get illegal weapons. I'd never go to that.
Which I just want to say,
right,
just for the record, I'm definitely not saying at any point you should purchase legal weaponry.
Right.
I believe that you should arm yourself, but only in legal ways. You should definitely get your psyche evals, whatever you need to do.
But however, people have it like that. Do you? I will never tell you not to, but I'll also never tell you to do it because it's a good point.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I would never advise that. Just on a preference.
So where I was gonna go with my comment, I was gonna say that I don't believe black people should own guns, but owning a bulletproof vest, most definitely. Especially if you're going to these protests, you damn well know you're going to be a target, so you should get a vest.
So, okay, you say that. Let me draw back. It was a couple years ago. It was many years ago, actually, but 2020. So I want to say 2007, 2008. T.I., everybody knows T.I. You know, he's from Atlanta, famous rapper. He was taken to jail on charges of having dangerous weaponry. So he had suppressors and he had a couple of bulletproof vests. He got taken in. They took him in, said everything was illegal, confiscated it. He went to jail for 5 years. So to your point, although you should definitely have some form of protection, like I said, that's another thing. It's like I feel like that's something that, once again, not saying that you should, but you'd have to go black market route without having to try to get it through the legal ways. I'm not saying that you can. There are plenty of people, entrepreneurs, even if you look on Facebook, gun enthusiasts who order all of these things, but in their state, it's legal to do that. You can go to Dallas, go to Walmart and buy a shotgun for $250 and nobody's
gun laws should be national. They shouldn't be state to state. They should be it should be by the government. We shouldn't have in Massachusetts you can't own a gun, and in New Hampshire, oh yeah, you can get like 5 firearms if you want. Like, no.
Right. No, for sure. But the thing is with, at least this is all coming from conjecture.
Yeah.
If we were to have a national law like that, it would just give people kind of free reign. Even if it were general, even if that general law were to be restrictive.
Everybody though.
Right, but even if it were to be restrictive, there are always going to be loopholes in the system.
Oh, there's a loophole for every law.
Right.
Every single law. Trump's in office and he's a predator. So what does that tell you?
You're right. We'll do a separate video on that.
Before we run out, I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about the protests, and do you think it's making any real change, or if it's just a lot of noise?
I'll go first. Yes, I think that all of this is making a change. We need to do more riots. We need to burn some more things. I'm not saying that just to be destructive. I'm not necessarily saying that just to say that people should be looting. However, gonna loot the things that are against us. And if we're gonna riot because there is offensive force coming towards us.
Right.
Not because we're bored and this is a protest and we want to get to looting and because we think it's right, because that's not the point of it. You only riot when there's been more injustice on top of what you're already protesting against. You know what I mean?
And don't loot if you weren't protesting.
Oh, don't. Yeah, absolutely. Please don't loot. Don't just leave your house and think, all right, it's time. I see it's going down. I'm on somebody's live. Let me suit up. Let's go. I'm putting on my Jason mask. Like, nah, don't do that. That's whack. You're crazy if you think that that's anything in the realm of right to do.
All right. And Irvin, what do you think about the protests and everything that's going on?
It's making a change because, if I remember correctly, they passed a bill. Like, for example, the Amy Cooper situation, they passed a bill basically stating that you can be reprimanded for making those false allegations.
I don't know if they passed it, but it was on the docket. I've heard about it. I'm not sure if they passed it already.
No.
But it's been brought up.
I think it was passed in New York. It's not federal yet.
Right.
Okay.
But in New York it is.
Okay.
So yeah, there is change being made. But honestly, like when I'm looking at a lot of the looting, there was a lot of stories that were hit for no reason.
Yeah.
So like, for example, I remember it was like it happened on Sunday. That Monday morning, I'm hearing from someone that owns a building in Malden called La Entienda, and his place is completely raided. And I completely felt bad because I'm like, it's nowhere near Boston. And it got looted for no reason just because someone wanted to loot.
At that point, it wasn't even the protesters. Most of the looting wasn't even the protesters. It was people that showed up late and wanted to take advantage of a dire situation.
Right. I want to mention, though. Oh, no, go ahead.
And then my other issue is how late it went, because we heard reports that people are looting up to 5 a.m. in the morning. There's absolutely no reason why someone should be looting that late in the day. Because I'm like, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12, 1 o'clock, it should be dying, 2 o'clock dead. There's absolutely no reason why it went to 5.
Like I said, opportunists. They take advantage of dire situations.
For sure. So one thing I want to mention just before we cut out, as far as like, the looting and the rioting, a lot of the rioting was incited by members who weren't of the Black Lives Matter movement. I just want to point that out. I've seen personally a lot of the footage. I've seen a lot of what happened, and you can clearly see them. I just want to say, if there are any Black Lives Matter, protesters who are watching this, please beat them. Don't worry about it. I will bail you out if I need to, because we got to stop just recording these people and letting them make a bad name for Black Lives Matter, because we're doing good things and we're trying to do good things. You can't just keep letting, please keep doing what you're doing. Please keep changing people's minds. Please keep changing laws. Do anything and everything you have to do. I don't care how many people. Right. Delete your friends. Put them on block. Do whatever you got to do.
Oh, that is a great thing that's going on right now. I love how everyone's just canceling. We just see something, you're canceled.
Yeah,
you're canceled.
You're going to
somebody on I knew this kid since like middle school. He said all lives matter. Block. Didn't even I couldn't. I was just
like, yeah. People going into work on their morning commute. What do you mean I'm fired?
Yep.
Right. Just like that. In 5 minutes. I love it.
Got MSPCA coming to repo dogs.
But honestly, I have to say that it's exhausting hearing everyone's response and then just seeing the people that you grew up with and them saying those words, it makes me feel like I'm a bad judgment of character for not seeing this earlier.
No, don't ever blame yourself, because a lot of people who are racist, right? But then they'd be like, oh, he's a good one. Meaning they'll sing you out like, oh, that black guy, that black girl, they're good. So I'll treat them right. People are racist, but then it's so internal that you will never see it until they get home, or how they talk about you behind their backs. You can never know how someone truly is until you see them at their worst. And right now, this whole country is bringing out everybody's true intentions. So don't even judge yourself based off of that.
I know, but just speaking for like,
and people
I see the post and I see how like every black person's reacting. They're just exhausted. I remember I was talking to someone about this, and they just told me by like 2 p.m. in the day, they're already exhausted because of how much.
That's why I stopped arguing with people. I don't argue with anybody. I don't argue with anybody anymore. I'm not doing that. You know how I feel. You know my stance. I've made it known. If you still want to argue, you're blocked. I don't have time for you. You're not worth my time. And that's what we all got to understand. All Lives Matter movement is not worth our time, because we know we're right. They know we're right. That's why they're so like they want to push it down our throats so much to the point where we feel overwhelmed. That's how they win. If you don't give them your time, you win. That's all you got to do.
Honestly, I hope the protests still go on, just because you have to remember, MLK did riots and protests for 6 days straight. On that 6th day, the Civil Rights Act was passed.
Oh, and also, don't quote MLK, first of all. Y'all still
I know. That's fair. Right. But I have to acknowledge his efforts.
No, you acknowledge him. I'm talking about the people in the All Lives Matter movement, talking about for peaceful protest. Because there's no such thing as a peaceful protest if you don't like what we're protesting.
Plain and simple. Final thoughts. Like I said, Black Lives Matter. Plain and simple, period. Nothing more to it. That's just how we do it. Please follow the Zone Friends. It's an incredible group. If you do, I will personally send you at least 20 of my memes. All right, these are exclusive memes. Nobody has seen them yet. These are all fresh off the block.
I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have any questions, just hit us up on Instagram or YouTube.